welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video I'm going to start off by calling myself a complete twit. Yes, I started painting the Hoplites, as you can see. I was getting quite far on with them, and I looked up just to see how long it was I've been painting, and noticed that this camera, this one, the one I use for this, the one that the Hoplite is pointing at, I'd forgot to press record. So, that being said, let us recap on what we've done. Right, flesh areas, there's not much of them. They were done using Bugman's Glow. Okay. After that, I covered, that's this colour, I covered all the metallic areas, which is the shield, the breastplate, the wrist guard, the leg guards and the tip of the spear, as well as the helmet, with Warplock Bronze, which is this colour. Then what I did is this skirt thing here that is this skirt thing here that he wears underneath the Ujit, whatever this leather strappy thing is, I painted with this colour, which is Rakarth Flesh. Then the belt there, I painted in this colour, which is Abaddon Black. After that, this leather strip skirty thing here, I mixed a little bit of Doombull Brown and Corn Red to make it a more browny red. That's the Doombull Brown, what's left of it, and that's the Corn Red. And I painted it with that colour. And then into the colour I mixed, for that I put a spot of the Abaddon Black into it to make that colour, which I used to paint the spear. I thought I might as well while I've got them out. That's where we are now. So, saying that's where we are now, let's carry on. Now, what I've been doing, because it's a long process painting multiple miniatures, what I'm doing is I'm painting this one on camera, okay, and then there's going to be a transition and skipping over painting these, because I'm painting them all exactly the same. So once you've seen one, you've seen them all. So I don't really want to keep going over things, fast forwarding or whatever, because it just takes up time. And when you're painting a lot of minis like this, it's going to be a long process. So I would soon just get to the important bits and show those. Okay, so as I said, that's where we are now. We've got the majority of it done. What I need now is to get the cloak done, and for that we're going to use Screamer Pink. No we're not, I don't want a red cloak with this. I've decided I don't want a reddish shade of cloak for this, because I'm going to be doing the Spartans in a red cloak, and I don't want to mix the two up. So I want to make them look individual. What colour could I go for, I wonder? Cantor Blue. That's the one we're going to be using. So, let's get some on our palette. Cantor Blue. We'll need quite a bit because there's 5 of these miniatures, and it's probably going to take a lot of paint to cover. So I'm going to get the Cantor Blue, get some separate, and into that a little bit of the black to make it a bit darker. I'll do just a spot more. That's better. And let's start blapping this onto the mini. I'm doing the large area with the big brush, so don't worry, I'm not going to go into any detailed area, run the risk of going over everything I've already painted. Yeah, that's not what I'm going to do. So that's that bit, and now this bit. I just want to get the majority of the paint off this brush before I do anything else. Because paint's expensive, no matter how you look at it, paint is expensive. So you don't want to waste any. You know, not if you can help it anyway. So there is going to be some left on the brush. But there's not all that much. I'll get this off the brush now, change brush into a thinner one, and then we can continue by getting into the more detailed areas. Like so. This is a very time-consuming step, because you've got to be, especially when you've painted some areas, you don't want to be going over what you've painted already with the new paint, so you've got to try and be as careful as you can, which means going slower. But when you go slower, there's always a chance of getting a proper job done. And there we are. And we just keep going into the recesses until we get right to the edge of where we want the paint to go. And there we are. I cannot believe I forgot to press record. Well, what am I saying? I can't believe I forgot. It sounds like something I could definitely do. Oh dear. I mean, let's face it, the amount of times I've actually done videos and not transferred it over and then deleted them straight away. You know, it's one of those things. Accidents happen. But hopefully you get where I'm coming from with what I've done, and you can follow on. It's not difficult to follow, let's put it that way. The cape is going to be obviously highlighted at a later step. Obviously not now. So I'm looking for just a little bit of individuality with my painting, and I don't want it looking like other people's, and trying to make it look as though each of the different ones stand out a bit more, so you're not seeing just a field of red capes on the table, and when you look at them you can see there's a difference. Oh, sorry, this has been on my head for a while and it's getting a little bit irritating now, but never mind. Right, transition time. I'll move that over there and get on with this one. Okay, so there we are, that's the blue cloak done. What I want to do now is using another blue colour, oops, it should be Lothan blue, one I don't use very often. The reason I don't use it very often is because I've never used it at all. As you can be able to tell when I nope, it didn't click as much as I thought it was going to. At least I don't think I've used it, I can't remember doing. Oh well, never mind. If I have, I have. If I haven't, I haven't. Simple as that. It's new enough for... it feels a new paint, let's put it that way. I may have opened it but not used it. I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway. So, using this, I'm just going to use it straight out of the tub because I'm not using a lot of it. And we're just going to do this on the crest here. I'm not bothered about historical accuracy, as I think I may have mentioned before, because I don't know whether I've mentioned this in this video or whether it was in when I thought I was filming earlier and wasn't. But that's all we're doing. Just the crest. Because there's not much of it, I'm just going to go with it and get these done. There we go. So yeah, so I'm not going to go with historical accuracy because I'm not a history scholar. I don't know much, indeed anything near enough about ancient Greece. I know a little, but you know, when it comes down to what they wore in battle and this, that and the other, well, it's not something that is foremost in my knowledge. I'm just trying to make these a little colourful and presentable on the tabletop. I'm not looking, as I say, for historical accuracy. If you want that, then have a nosy for some games that are based on historical battles and go with those. I avoid those because I feel restricted kind of painting, because I'd have to paint them a certain way to represent accuracy, and that's not something that appeals to me. Okay, so that's the open blue stage done. I'm just having a look now to see if any of the metallic areas need touching up before we start the next step. And the helmet does, I know that, because I've just gone over it with the Lothern blue. There's a few areas I have missed altogether, especially on the legs. But so this is a necessary step on this, because we need to get the armour completely covered in this colour, so that the colour we put over the top of it looks right. So now I've done that bit, we can get on with doing these little incidental areas. Now again, I'm just going to do this on this particular mini, and then I'm going to pause. Well, not pause, I'm going to cut the video into just a little transition, so you don't see everything, but you'll see this step here now. And that's basically all I'm doing for the others. Okay, so I'll just make sure this step is done. There we are. And now we'll carry on with the other minis, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so that's all the touch-up levels done. Now what we're going to be doing is looking at the first lot of like highlighting, which will go on the metal areas, and that will just be a basic dry brush. After that, we're going to be looking at washing. Okay, so first off, the armour, the chest plate, and that we're going to use Auric Armour Gold. I'll just give it a bit of a shake. That's the one we're going to be using. And I'll just get that up. It needs a bit more of a shake. In fact, it may need a downward stir. So it's not actually mixing terribly well. There we go. Now let's see, hopefully I've got enough here to get the job done. So as I said, this is going to be on the chest plate of the miniatures. I've got a stray okay, so what I'm going to do this is just get it on the brush and then touching it onto the breastplate. Just to bring out the highlights. Looks like so. Oh yeah, that's all that's needed. A little bit more up here. Yep. And a little bit more down there. There we are. So we'll do that for all of these. Okay, there we are. So the breastplate is done. Now what we have to do is look at the shield. Now the shield is going to be done not in gold. If I can find it. Hopefully this doesn't need a stirring, but just in case, I've got my stick handy. This is going to be done in Hashut copper. It does need a bit of a stir. I'm going to pop a bit on the palette because I'm also going to do the whatchamacallit with this colour, the helmet. What have I just knocked off? Right, so first off, so we're going to do the shield, and with this, so we're going to do it with the Hashut copper. I'm just going to give it a good shake. Hopefully, yeah, there we are. It's all gone into the lid now, so I can get some easily. I mean, I better keep it open because I need it. So some on the brush, scrape it off the brush, and then let's see if this works this time. There we go. Gives just a very subtle change in colour. Hope you can see that. There's not much of a change, but it is very subtle. So I'm going to use this for all the shields, and then in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it. Why have I just wet the dry brush? Oh. Right, let's try and dry the dry brush, and I'll put that to one side, and I'll do the go to the palette, and I'll put some of this on the helmet. There we are. It's what's that? Not a very subtle difference in colour. I'm just trying to keep the different areas of the helmet separate with the highlighting, because we've got like the face mask type thing. And we have the basic head area. So I'm trying to keep them both as separate, but you can see how I'm doing it. In fact, while I'm here, I'll also do these areas as well. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so that's what I'm going to be doing with the other minis. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so there we are. That's all of the minis done to that step. Next, what we're going to be doing is a little bit of washing. So the cape, first of all, is going to get done, followed by the what you call it, that little skirt thing there he's wearing under his leather strips. So where are we? I can't see the, there we are, it was hiding. So first off, for the cape, Dreckenhoff Nightshade, and get that on the go. And it's going to be very dark bluey grey colour. Give all of the cape a good washing. There we go. So all of the cape done, and I'm even going to go over the crest with this, because it will sink into the crevices and then we can come back and highlight that later on. But that's all we'll be doing for this section. I'll wash the others and then we'll come back. There we are. So that's the first lot washed. Next wash is going to be on the little skirts underneath the leather strips, and that's going to be done with Agrax Earthshade. It's not going to take too long to do this. So let's just get on with it, shall we? In fact, beggar it and do the whole of this leather skirty thing while it's here, just to give it that little bit of depth. There we are. That's all we're doing with that, so we'll just carry on. And that is where we're going to leave it for this video. When we come back, we'll be starting highlighting, but that's all we have time for at this precise moment in time, because we have to wait until the washes have dried before we do anything else. So let's have a quick look at the minis themselves. We'll have a look at each one just to show you that I have done them all exactly the same. So, starting off with the one that we did on camera. Here we are. And then each in turn. There are still some areas I haven't touched yet, but we can do them a little bit later. Why I'm picking up like this and not by the spear, I don't know, because the spear hasn't been touched by washes, so oh well, not to worry. There we go. That's all done exactly the same, but we have to leave it there and come back to them later. So until then, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.